Hey everybody, have you ever heard of an oxygen thief? Normally, that would be somebody that's in a room that has to constantly talk over the top of everyone else. It's called that an oxygen thief. It's not a very good term. It basically means that you're using up all the oxygen and spitting out a bunch of CO2 and causing a bunch of stress and noise for everyone else. Kind of like being in a room full of dogs. So, here's our pregnant mom, and here are our oxygen thieves. And these oxygen thieves are very detrimental to the mom. So stick around and I'll show you why. Okay, first off, let's have a look at this article from Hello Motherhood. What happens to the baby if it's not getting enough oxygen in the wound? Well, nothing good. You need to avoid behavior that could reduce the amount of oxygen the baby receives. Let me highlight this. Avoid behavior that to reduce the amount of oxygen. So don't do that. Don't do stuff to reduce the baby's amount of oxygen. Lack of blood flow and oxygen can cause permanent damage to the fetus. One of the main things is cerebral palsy. It's from lacking oxygen. The brain needs oxygen to build stuff, and it's involved in controlling movement and coordination. Cerebral palsy includes many different diseases. Stillbirth is one of them. 20 weeks of pregnancy. According to the March of Dimes, stillbirths happen in 1 in about 160 pregnancies, and is caused from the lack of oxygen. The fetus can die from the lack of oxygen. So this is a serious and interesting thing, and this is a powerful topic if you want to keep your babies healthy and have some beautiful, smart babies coming into your nation. Okay, here's another article from Medical News Today. There are thousands of these articles. This one talks about causes of shortness of breath during pregnancy. So that means that pregnant mothers do have shortness of breath during pregnancy. Here are some of the causes that it lists. The growing uterus pushes upwards on the lungs, and hormonal increases. So the mother needs more oxygen when she's pregnant. More serious pregnancy complications can lead to difficulty breathing. Treatment involves home remedies, and some of these home remedies include giving the mother more oxygen. So there's a lot of studies and information about when the baby is in distress inside of the mom, they give the mom a little more oxygen. Not a lot, but they give the mom's oxygen and they monitor it, and it helps the baby settle down and it helps the baby quit becoming distressed. And so oxygen is very important for our mom. So there's even many studies about how to increase your oxygen during pregnancy. There's breathing exercises, even certain types of plants that you have in your house. And this equals more healthy babies. This equals less birth defects and less suffering overall when we give our babies more oxygen. There's so many very interesting, detailed, and fact-checked and properly scientifically sourced articles out here that talk about the importance of oxygen. So let's look at this study for a minute. This one talks specifically about cerebral palsy, but as it says right here, lack of oxygen to the brain is one of the risk factors for cerebral palsy. Okay, we now know that oxygen is important for the mother. We know that the mother should not do things to reduce the oxygen, and actually increasing the oxygen can make her baby much healthier. So what's going on with these oxygen thieves? These are oxygen thieves. These should not be anywhere near your pregnant mom. This is child neglect in advertising. Pregnant moms with dogs is not right. This ridiculous push for more and more dogs in the beds with pregnant mothers is not right. A dog consumes oxygen and breathes CO2. It's a double impact hit on the health of your baby. Low oxygen sicknesses are on the rise in our society. Birth defects are on the rise in our society. And more people that are pregnant, they're doing this. Bringing dogs into their pregnancy. In fact, dogs use up so much oxygen and pump out so much CO2 that across our nation, these are some of the treatments that dogs get to help them recover, or just people just do this for the heck of it. They give their dogs oxygen. Low CO2 causes all kinds of low oxygen and high CO2 causes health problems for dogs, and they give them extra oxygen to help them. Look at this dude right here. Look at old Chub Stubs right here. Here you go. Here's some extra oxygen for you. So having extra oxygen in your life is good. Dogs enjoy it. Pregnant moms should enjoy it more. Hey everybody, what about spider plants? Why don't we put these with our pregnant mothers? Anecdotally, all across history and scientifically, these spider plants are proven to help add a little bit of oxygen to our environment. And so if adding a little bit of oxygen to our environment can help us, why would we want to bring in a dog that adds CO2 and takes away our oxygen? If taking away our oxygen can hurt us and bringing oxygen into our life can help us, why are we putting dogs next to pregnant mothers? We didn't used to do this as a society. And now birth defects are on the rise and dog ownership is on the rise. Putting these moms in the bed with several dogs that use up the oxygen that's needed for the baby, that's not fair. That's not fair at all to these pregnant mothers. And to push out any of this propaganda is absolutely ridiculous. All this kind of stuff that people push out, pregnant mom with the dog, oh, the dog is relieving stress. No, it's not. The barking of the dog is also terrible for the baby. See my other video, and I'm going to do a new video on it too. So, that has been the story of our oxygen thieves. They do not belong in the bed, they don't belong in the house, and if I'm being honest, they really don't belong in our society. I know some people out there are going to be like, well, I've always had dogs. Well, that's great. I've always had 2 warts on my nose, or whatever. I've always had a sickness, but this is ridiculous. And you guys ought to stop and also ask yourself, what companies benefit by having more birth defects and more sicknesses in our kids, and kids that grow up with their prefrontal lobe not developing properly because of lack of oxygen? Who benefits from that? Society at large does not benefit, and our future families and future Americans do not benefit from that. Quit stealing our oxygen.